when we talk about doing different things, it's also talking about how we might collaborate on a scale and in a way that we've never done so in the past. And I think, the sort of housing crisis that we face as Māori is one where it requires us to think differently, to act differently, and to work together.
When we look at Māori housing and we put it on the list of things that Māori are up against, where does it rate in your mind?
Well, it's one of the top priorities, but you can't look at housing in isolation of all of those other aspects that affect our people. So it does start with income levels, and so that relates to education, to employment, to higher employment or higher education. But importantly, when you look at the statistics and the fact that many of our whānau are living in emergency housing or are being supported by income rental assistance, we've got to think differently about how that investment that government is making can be channeled to more longer term sustainable outcomes for our whānau. So housing's definitely important at the moment. And of course with housing it's quite complicated because there's the urban setting in terms of what current price points are, and then of course we have some of the rural challenges that our whānau face. So definitely a priority in my mind. We can bring land, but we need enabling capital to allow iwi, to allow Māori to be able to build those houses for our whānau. So it is quite a simple solution in my mind. But like all of these things, it requires a level of commitment and confidence in Māori, in iwi, to be able to do the things that we need to do for our whānau. And that requires, I guess, courage from the government's part. In order to address this housing crisis that we face, it does require transformational change. And the only way we get transformational change is through courageous action. And there's a part that we play as Māori, but also the government, to do things differently. And to have faith and confidence in Māori, in iwi, to lead those solutions for our whānau. Definitely from a planning and a consenting sort of standpoint, I think at a central government level things can be done to ease that particular process for Māori. Secondly, of course, there's the financing piece, and so when you look at cost of infrastructure and how we might best optimise any investment in infrastructure, it requires quite a strategic and planned approach. If we were to develop the delivery models, recognising that they may be slightly different in each region, it requires us to look at all of those barriers, but also what are the solutions or interventions to overcome those barriers. And so it starts from land availability and access, the sort of design and placemaking sort of process, understanding sort of typology, understanding what's required in terms of the build process, and thinking about that build process, because we have opportunities to ensure that the materials we use, that the buildings we are developing are such where we're reducing the ongoing sort of maintenance cost and living costs for our whānau. So it might seem complicated, but I've got confidence that we can map that out and actually prototype some particular delivery models that are going to provide the outcomes we want. We know our communities, we know the challenges, and we need to be enabled to be able to provide those solutions that are necessary to advance those aspirations of our whānau.